Hi there, I'm the CRM Ninja, and welcome to another episode of The Oops Factor. Today, I have Prashant Shukla joining me all the way from Sydney. How are you doing, Prashant?
I'm doing really good. It's nice to finally meet you. And I'm in Brisbane. You're in Sydney.
I'm in Sydney, you're in Brisbane. I didn't realize because your LinkedIn profile says Sydney.
Oh, yes. For some reason, it doesn't fix, but that's fine.
Tut tut. And to think they're owned by Microsoft. Surely, we could talk to somebody to get it fixed.
Yeah, I'm getting the free account, so I'm fine.
Got it. Don't complain about free stuff. Right. So, yeah, so apparently I'm in Sydney. Okay, so at least we're on the same continent, and this is all
Yeah,
virtual as well. So that's cool.
yeah.
So, what have you been up to this week?
Well, busy week. Meetings and yeah, projects, sprints, releases, things like that. So that's all I've been doing. Yeah, planning my weekend to do what during the weekend.
What are the plans for the weekend?
Recording my videos.
Yeah. For people who aren't familiar, Prashant is a video maven. Loves recording, loves being involved in the community and doing stuff to help others. So if you haven't checked him out, go take a look at him. I will put links in the description for this. So yeah. So any idea of what video you're going to do this weekend?
Um, so I launched my Canvas app in an hour course. I think about 3 weeks ago, or almost
Yep.
4 weeks ago now.
I saw
So
it.
I'm
I actually
think
have it saved in my favorites. I just haven't had the time yet to go on it, but it's on my list of things to do.
that's good. I'm almost 300 students now, so which
Wow,
is good.
it's incredible.
Yeah, I got a really good feedback. The automated emails I send, and everybody replies to it, which is good. But I cannot just keep on posting everybody's recommendation on my um, website because it's already there like 10, and it covers a lot of web page space. So I
Yeah,
cannot keep doing that. But everybody just replies that it's simple to follow and this and that. And that was my whole purpose to do it. So why I started this topic because I'm now thinking of module two, which I don't
uh,
want to disclose now, which
that's
would be
fine. We
another.
we can
Uh,
NDA it.
you cannot. You're recording it.
No. I'm saying we can NDA. We can talk about it off camera and NDA
Yep.
it. No, not on
Yep.
camera, of
Yep.
course. Or we could talk about it on camera, and I can just snip that bit. Did you?
No, it's fine. To a few students who demanded that there should be more such course and they want to look into other areas. So basically, it's all related to app in a day. If
Right.
you've heard of that, most
I have.
partners conduct those workshops in a day. And what I've heard as feedback that by lab three, the day is gone. So
Yeah.
I try to convert that into an online one. And Canvas app in an hour was my part one, as in module one.
Yep.
And I'll be doing all of them, including Power BI or Power Virtual Agent or
Wow.
any Power Platform component, but in an hour and in a way that people can follow. And they shouldn't be from our industry. So I
Yep.
did a test on my friend's son, who is 15 years old, and he was my
It was
he
your
was
stress
my target.
test.
Yeah, and then I did with my sister. She's into this online cooking and YouTube channel for cooking and whatnot. And I asked
Right.
her that, can you try it? Because she has no link to the IT industry at all, and she completed that as well. So those were my tests. So that's why I try to build it in a way which is simple enough so that whether
Yep.
you are from IT or not, but you can follow it. So that would be my agenda for the weekend that I complete my course.
That sounds awesome. I hope all the recordings go well.
Sure.
So we've got the community involvement done. What story do you have to share with us around the oops factor?
Sure. I would like to share actually two, if you permit.
Sure. Floor's all
All
yours.
right. Sure. And is it a professional oops factor or personal?
Whatever you
I'm
want.
joking. I'm joking. No, otherwise it will take at least 3 days. um, okay, so the first one I would like to talk about was almost 5 years back when I was working in Singapore back then.
Okay.
And I wouldn't name the organizations
No,
because
of
these
course not.
are, yeah. So, but it was a $1.5 million project,
Okay.
and the organization I was working for, they got the project because they were renowned for government clients. And
Okay.
when I started off with the project, and day one of my kickoff meeting and start of the workshops in terms of functional requirement gathering and whatnot, I heard that what the tool we are using, along with back then it was called MSCRM, and that's
Yes.
what they were using. So along with that, they were using something called Spread.js. Now,
Okay.
I I haven't heard of, like, back then I did not hear that term at all, and I wasn't sure what this is and how it would resolve the problem, because the requirements clearly were of Portal, Power Apps Portal,
Right.
right? Because you can allow portal admins to change the name of fields and labels and remove a field, add a field on the
Yeah.
form as well. So they can do all those things from that. But the person who proposed it, they left the organization before I joined. And within 3 days of business requirement gatherings, I was like, I cannot do this. Like, I cannot even ask the technical person that you do it because there's so many security breaches here. Anybody would go to that. So Spread.js is something, I think it's JavaScript and Excel, a mix of both. So you can do a lot of thing in it, but in terms of allowing the users to change the sales there in terms of label or whatnot,
Yeah.
it would be anytime they can change it and it's visible on your .NET portal. And this was for tax exemption.
Right.
So this is a major government organization, and this was for that. And your faults would be seen by the entire globe if you do it
Wow.
that way. So that happened. I was in that project and trying to survive, and telling my GM that this is not the right suggestion. They're like, but we propose this solution. I'm like, it's not hard. You just have to call the steering co and just tell them that there's a better solution which is more appropriate for your situation. And as long as you accept your mistake, they'll be able to accept your new solution. There's no problem with that.
Own the
Um,
mistake. You know, being the trusted
yeah,
advisor means that
yeah.
when we do something that isn't correct or we've suggested something we realize it's not, we then contact and say, look, you know, we've done this, but it's not the right thing. We have a better way of dealing with it.
Absolutely, and that's what I was talking about to the GM, to the MD of the company. Uh, but everybody was like, "No, but we might lose the project and this and that." I'm like, once the project is awarded, you just have to think of the best solution for the client.
Yeah.
You shouldn't think of that you will lose that if you tell them the best solution because you're the partner, they're not. Um, but anyway, so when I was there, it didn't happen. I started my move to Australia, and I
So
resigned.
you so effectively the project kept on going against your recommendation to re-steer it in the proper
Yes,
direction. Wow.
yes.
Okay.
So it kept on going, but as soon as I told them that I'm leaving for Australia and whatever, like basically all my excuses to leave that organization, I was told that I was right. They should have done it, and if I stayed, they would do it. And I was
They're
like,
trying to keep you
well,
around. They realize you're the only competent person who identified it and can handle it, and suddenly you're disappearing out the door. It's like, no, stay here.
yeah, because you really need guts to tell the client what's the
Yeah.
truth. And you need to be able to accept your mistakes. So I said, whether I leave or not, you should tell them anyway. Like, you cannot just force it on me that if I stay, then only you'll tell it. Anyway, that didn't happen. But I'm aware that the project did go live. They had
Okay.
to do, first of all, they did not have any resource who knew Spread.js, right? So
Right.
they had to train these people. The team evolved and more number of resources in terms of those parameters.
Yeah.
And the project did go live. I'm aware. One of my friends was involved in it as
Okay.
well. But then it is about a year ago now that I received, I shouldn't say it, or should I? Okay, I received an apology
Oh, okay.
from the person. Yeah, that they didn't hear me or listen to me on my recommendation, and well, the company was then sold to another company. So, so that was my first. That if I can judge something in first 2 or 3 days, just listen to it, because if you're experienced enough, like be it 2 years or 3 years, if you
Yeah,
know your product, you can easily sense that whether it's going to be possible or not.
definitely.
Now,
I have
anything
to
is
say as
possible.
well that the fact that you got the message, albeit a couple of years later, but it takes a lot of courage to be able to go to somebody, especially way after the event when you're not necessarily in touch anymore, and say, look, I'm sorry, you were
Yeah.
right, I was wrong.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I was like, I never had hard feelings for it. It's just their choice because they have to be in the business.
yeah,
My way of work is different to their way of work, so I wouldn't stick to your company. I'm very ethical and very transparent. Whatever it is, it's on
yeah,
your face. This is how it is. So, but then yeah. So with a lot of customizations, anything is
yeah.
possible. But is it the best way to do it?
You can make the system
That's
do anything, especially with code,
yeah.
but the question is, should you be doing it? Is there a better way? Definitely, yeah.
True. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. So that was my story one. Um, do you want me to go to the
Sure,
other one
go for
now?
it.
All
More than
right.
happy.
So story number two is a bit funny as well. So this is not very old, but this is approximately 1.5 years back.
Okay.
Um, and what happened? We went to a client for Dynamics 365 diagnostics. They were
Right.
using finance and operations as well as CE. Now,
Black
yeah, and
magic.
and it is good if they're using it to its potential, but unfortunately, they were not. So we had a meeting with the CFO, the owner of the organization, and this is like I'll again not name it, but very well renowned Australian firm.
Right.
What they wanted us to do is advise them that how can they use the system to its potential, because they've invested so much in it and
Right.
people are not using it. They're just avoiding to enter data and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, the issue wasn't there, like not at the client side. It was back in my team. There were two people working on the report. Actually, there were two people from CE and two people from FinOps, right? And when I saw the final report, and my inputs were there as well, they said, we're ready to send it to the client. And I'm like, but you're sending it to a CFO. Do you think they will understand your plugins and entities you've listed here? So
Was it very technical by any
it was
chance?
it was basically, so let me tell you, the format was you've got these entities in the system, you've got these JavaScripts in the system, you've got these plugins in the system, and there are these many workflows in the system. Now, how does that help? Like you called a consultant for some reason. There's a logic behind it. Be a consultant, right? You're
Yeah.
just telling them what you've told them. They should have done that by copy pasting, going
Yeah.
to the solution and just copy paste the text. So I had to argue there. I shouldn't say this on screen, but if I feel that there's something wrong, I would just take my stand that this is not the right thing to send to the
Correct.
client,
See a
because
situation, own the mistake.
yeah,
Not necessarily a mistake, but own the solution. Say, look, we have a
yeah,
better way of doing this. Not necessarily a mistake, but we need to adapt things in the proper way.
true. So when you circulate a document, you must understand who's your audience.
Yeah.
Now, there can be a combined document for a CFO, CEO, as well as a project manager who can understand your IT
Yeah.
terms there. But it has to be a mix of everything because everybody is reading it, not just one specific department.
Right.
So I had my other document as well. At the end of the day, what happened? So in this document, which I prepared, which is called a report, is there was that what's the adoption rate, what's causing lack of adoption,
Right.
and charts like those. Like this is the area, for example, in their case, sales was the area where they could improve. Nobody was entering leads. Opportunities were captured rarely.
Right.
So highlighting those areas where people can actually provide input would increase your adoption rate, providing gamification, some sort of points, telling
Yeah,
them that this is the only way we will look at your goals or targets or KPIs. So people will adopt the system. So if it is not going smoother when you're not forcing stuff, you'll have to force stuff,
definitely.
right? So that was there. So combined with the entities, so towards the end of the report were all these workflows and solution things, but at the beginning was this. And there was also the business operations, which was, I'll show you whenever I'll meet you in person in terms
Sure.
of the documentation. I created a business operations of this organization. And when we were presenting, the CFO said, this is the simplest of the business process of my organization I've ever seen in my entire life. Like I've never pictured it that it is so simple. So, well, in a good way, what they meant. And I was
Yeah,
like,
no,
well,
I
that's,
got it. It came across in a good way. It's like, this is the
yeah,
cleanest, gives me the
yeah,
information I need in the way without being hundreds and hundreds of pages.
yeah. So that happened, and the CFO was happy because they read the first half of the document.
Yeah.
The project manager was happy because they read the second half of the document. But the best part out of this was that the FinOps team, they adopted the structure of my document. So
Wonderful.
then, so that happened. And so you told me that we might talk about resolutions and how I did it. It was basically taking a stand that my quality is not going to a client because my name is also something in
Yeah.
this small industry. I will never send a document like this to the client. So the GM had to accept my recommendation, ask the team members to work in this format instead of just the technical format.
Yeah.
And when the FinOps practice director, she saw it, and funnily enough, she's from the UK.
Just
So,
funnily enough there. I mean,
coincidentally. But she said that, well, if you're doing it this way, I'm asking my team to do it this way as well. So
yeah. No,
basically,
documentation is
mm,
really important. I've been on several courses about how to present information cleanly and then sort of, look at the level of that you're dealing with within a company. So whether CEO, CFO, the C-suite, or whether high-level executives, mid-level executives, business teams, the higher you go, the shorter the document should be. 1 page, maybe 2 pages for CEO, very cleanly
yeah,
laid out. Once you go down project manager and the technical people, you can then have all the reams of documentation.
completely agree.
Definitely. Well, thank you. Some very valuable lessons to learn for that. Make a stand where you feel it's necessary. Make sure if your name is on something that you are happy with, sending it through.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
if you're on a
because
project and you see something going wrong that's not right in the first couple of days, raise it, raise it, raise it. It raises flags.
true, because at the end of the day, when that document is read by people who were not there currently, but they'll come and become part of the organization in the future, and I'm not there, and they look at something like
Yeah.
that, they'll say, oh my God, he's that person in the community.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I have my reputation along with your organization's reputation.
Look,
So I would
definitely.
always take a stand.
Yeah, no, I fully agree with, look, I blog regularly and stuff. And when I'm blogging, it's like, this could be here 10, 15, 20 years down the line. So I can be
Yeah,
casual in how I'm talking, but it's got my name on it, or documentation for a client project got my name on it and will be handed over.
yeah,
So you need to be very careful. Yes. Wonderful.
yeah,
Well, thank you so much for those wonderful insights, and we hope people take those and move forward. Um, Now here's your chance to nominate
yeah.
somebody else to appear on the Oops Factor. Who would you choose?
I would. Have you ever had Deepesh in there?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, so I would say Deepesh Samani.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah,
I will hit up with you offline to arrange an introduction because I don't think I'm yet connected with him. But yeah, Deepesh,
sure.
we're going to get you on the Oops Factor. Prashant has nominated you.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. It was a
Absolute
pleasure.
pleasure. Viewers, we hope that you've enjoyed watching this. Please feel free to take a look at the other Oops Factor stories in the YouTube channel, subscribe to the channel, take a look at the blog, and above all, have a great day.